You run a sandbox, no rails. Your players go wherever they want, and you're proud of that. But here's the problem. Half the hex crawls I see and hear about run online are essentially railroads wearing a disguise. Some forced encounter at the same distance every session. Same, the road curves here, you can't avoid it moment. Same illusion of choice where every hex leads to the content that the ref, the GM, the DM has already prepped. And I'm not here to defend railroads. And I'm not here to torch hex scrolls either. I've run both formats since 1980. Badly and well. And the failure mode is almost never the structure you picked. It's what you do with it once the dice hit the table. And here's why this matters tonight if you're running anything this week. If your hex crawl has a main quest hex, the one place the plot actually advances, you don't have a sandbox. You have a railroad with extra travel time bolted onto the front. Think about how most hex crawls actually get built. The ref draws a hex map, 6 miles to the hex, fills in layers and points of interest. Maybe they break out a little what was it? Magic White? Oh no, that's that painter guy in PBS. But in any case, maybe the ref rolls for some wandering counter, wandering monster tables. It looks completely open. Players can go anywhere. But look where the content actually lives. 9 times out of 10, there's one hex. All right, I'll give it to you. Sometimes two, where the real adventure is. The rest is simply padding. Wandering monster rolls and travel attrition dressed up as freedom. That's not a structural failure of hex crawling. That's a referee who built a railroad and called it a sandbox because the map has more than one road on it. So, what actually makes a hex crawl a hex crawl, as opposed to a railroad with a 6 mile grid overlay? Well, it's not the absence of plot, it's the absence of a single correct destination. A real hex crawl has multiple hexes that are all individually worth visiting. Not one golden hex and five essentially empty ones. The keep on the Borderlands works because the caves of chaos and the keep and the wilderness encounters are all live options. Not because there's no content elsewhere on the map. And that's the payoff. Stock density, not map size. It's what separates a hex crawl from a railroad with foliage. You can run 6 hexes with real stakes in each one. You don't need 60 empty ones to prove you're not railroading anyone. Quick thanks to the minions for keeping this channel running. If this kind of breakdown is useful to you, the Tavern community is where the real conversation happens. Links below. And of course, a subscribe helps more people find this instead of the same recycled Sandbox-good railroad bad takes. But another good take would be DM Angelo. We're doing this as a collab. So, DM Angelo's video will be linked in the description, and a link to his channel will be below this video. Check it out. Now, let's flip it. Here's why the railroad side of this argument also gets misrepresented constantly online. And it matters because half of you are avoiding a perfectly good tool simply out of guilt. A railroad isn't the GM decided what happens. That's every game. Okay? Deciding what happens is the ref's job, the GM's job. The dungeon, what do we call him, dungeon master or game master? Think about it. A railroad, though, is specifically when the player decisions stop mattering to the outcome. The party can do anything they want in the scene, but the scene after it is fixed regardless of what the players do. Structure isn't the sin. A planned sequence of events isn't the sin. The sin is decisions that don't branch, decisions that don't matter. Example, run a structured investigation. I did that for 20 years, right? And you'll see the same principle. A good investigation has a fixed goal. Find out what happened. But the path to get there branches constantly based on what the investigator actually does. Pull the wrong thread, and that's going to happen. You get a dead end. You get a distraction. Pull the right one, you get the next lead. And that's structure with live branching. That's what a good railroad looks like at the table. A clear through line where the player's choices still change which doors open next. A railroad fails when the next scene is the same no matter what the party rolls. No matter what they say, no matter what they decide, no matter where they go. A railroad works when the destination is fixed, but the route, the cost, and the casualties along the way are not. So here's a test that actually tells you which one you're running. And you can apply this at your own table, your next session. Ask yourself one question about your last session. If the players had made a different decision at the key moment, would the next scene have actually been different? Not cosmetically different, a different room, different flavor text. Actually, substantially different in terms of what's available to them and what's at stake. If the answer is no, well, you were railroading. Whether you were running a published adventure path or a hex crawl with 48 hexes in it, the hex count doesn't save you. If the answer is yes, you weren't railroading, even if you had the entire session planned out beat for beat in advance. And that's the actual line. Not sandbox versus railroad. Branching versus non-branching. A hex crawl with one real destination is a non-branching railroad with a scenic detour built in. A tightly structured investigation where every clue opens or closes a real door is branching. Full stop. Regardless of what map shape it's drawn on. So here's what you can do at your table this week. Take whatever you're running next session, be it a hex crawl module, homebrew investigation, it doesn't matter. And ask one question before you sit down. If they choose differently here, does anything downstream actually change? If no, fix that node before you run it tonight. That's the job. Not picking the right format off a shelf. Thank you so much for joining me on this, folks. God bless, and I'll catch you later.